Here's Boardwalk Empire Season 1, Episode 4, titled Anastasia. This is Forming Bonds to Strengthen Yourself episode. Not only to strengthen your criminal enterprise, but also to strengthen yourself personally episode. It was kind of hinted at in this episode before. This is kind of what Boardwalk does, which makes Boardwalk such an interesting show to watch from a analyst perspective, because it overlaps its themes, where the show's always usually about one thing, one overriding theme, but it kind of hints at something in the episode before and then it wraps itself up in the next episode, and that's what's going on here. So then you got James, who's going to Chicago, joins forces with Al Capone, and watching these scenes in the next few episodes with Al Capone, here's these two guys trying to obtain power in this criminal world, but we know where Al Capone's journey ends. Like, we know what happens. It's kind of like interesting storytelling. You're watching like a Apollo 13 or Zero Dark 30 or whatever, where you know the end result, but you're watching to see how the end result kind of took place. And that's sort of what we're seeing with Al Capone, which is the cool. But we know that James is kind of an interesting guy. We're wondering where he's going to end up as well. And of course, you got Nucky, kind of the birth of his relationship with politicians and seeing how good he is with politicians. And we'll learn later on that this is what makes him so great, is his relationships with politicians, and it's all about the trade-offs and like everybody compromising and learning from each other. Then you got Chalky. We're learning about Chalky's world, the black gangster, and he's just a guy not to be messed with. But of course, there's always the Margaret character who's a smart enough lady, and but she's the refresher of the show. She's an idealist, but at the same time, you kind of know where the theme of The Sopranos, where anytime there's a wholesome character that kind of is the good person of the episode or the good person of the season or whatever, you know they're going to be a little bit corrupt, because at the end of all Sopranos, they're all corrupt, and you're kind of knowing perhaps this is where Margaret is going, but at the same time you're rooting against that. That's my review.